Alright guys, so a lot of you have been asking about my Forex strategy. I took 4 trades I think in the last 2 weeks. One break even, one loss, and then two bangers. So a lot of you guys were asking what do I use, what do I trade, what strategy do I use? And very simple, I created my own strategy. It's based on supply and demand. So I will go over it, however I will leave some concepts out since I don't want them to be free to the public, because of course it's my own strategy and I only want my students to know these kind of concepts. So let's just go into the chart. I will show you everything, how I managed my entry, my areas, and the trade basically. So the two bangers that I want to go over are AUDCAT and AUDCHF. First one that I took was AUDCAT, and if you guys look closely, you will notice that both of the trades literally look alike. So please pay attention, because the strategy is super easy, could literally change your life. Super easy. What do I do first? I always start over on the 4-hour time frame. 4-hour time frame, we need to see a clean trend. As you can see right here, we are in a super clean bearish trend. Easiest way to figure it out is just point out all the swing highs and lows, remove it from your chart, and you will easily see that we are in a bearish market. Next thing that I do, if you're in a bearish market, I will look for my most recent super big supply. So for example, when we were here, this was not a big supply, this is just one random candle. This here was my biggest supplies. This was my biggest supply where I wanted to trade off. And next thing I do is I literally just wait until that area gets tapped. As you can see right here, we had our tap in, and then that's the moment when I go over to the 1-hour time frame, the 15-minute time frame, and I will actually look to enter my position. Before that, I will do nothing. I don't place limits. I don't do anything like that. I don't enter immediately after he hits my zone. Tap in the zone. I then go to the lower time frame, and what I want to see then is basically the same thing that I see on the 4-hour, but then just on a lower time frame. So on a 4-hour, I would like to see this happening. So this is then my major supply. Now again, on a 1-hour and on the 15 minutes, I would like to see the same thing happening. So what could we see here in my area? First rejection, super nice. We created this new supply, and as you can see right here, it was tapped. However, this was during the night, and I don't trade during the night, so I missed this entry opportunity. But what could we see? When I started trading that day, we could see there was a new supply being formed right here, and as you can see, we literally tapped in there. My entry was somewhat here, I think, on this rejection from that candle. So why I entered there, again, it's a concept that I don't really want to share yet. And after that, super easy, we chopped around a bit, went back to our entry, and then we went all the way down to take profit. I use break-even levels in the opposite way that I trade. So for example, this was a short position based on a supply zone. I will then manage my risk, and I will put stop loss to break even when we hit a demand zone. So how to make this super easy? Literally look to the markets and think, yeah, if I want to trade this in the opposite direction, where will I enter? Super easy. Based on my strategy, this is sort of where I would have entered. However, for me, this was a bit too far already. So I went over to the 15 minutes and I looked for a better supply demand zone. So as you can see, in the opposite direction, we would have took a buy from this demand zone. Super easy. That's where I moved my stop loss to break even. Risk was completely out there. And from then on, it's just stop loss, it's just break even or take profit. I don't close anywhere in between, and then I just move back to the 4-hour. I don't want to see anything on the lower time frames, and I just literally wait for my take profit to be smashed. Super easy. My take profit is either a former demand zone, so again, my take profit is based on how would I trade this in the opposite direction. So on one on one account I closed on this area, and then on some other accounts I literally hold until the last low. Why? Because this 1-hour candle and this 4-hour candle had super nice momentum, so I had a feeling that we were gonna smash this area. This is it for AUDCAT. Again guys, super similar trade on AUDCHF. As we can see, what do we have? We start over on the forward time frames, mark out major swing highs, major swing lows. You can see clearly we are in a bearish trend. Again, my supply zone is right here. Why? Not gonna explain that. Very exclusive concept that I use. I was kind of worried with this 4-hour candle, and I didn't really like it, especially because it was on Monday, and on Monday I want to see good rejection, especially after the first 4-hour candle after I wake up. So I will never ever enter before 11 a.m. Belgium time on a Monday. I then again went over to the lower time frames, 1 hour, 15 minutes. What do I want to see? I want to see a new supply being created. If we go to the 15 minutes, for me it was super clean that we here first created a new supply. I normally would have entered before 11, didn't fuck with the 4-hour candle yet, and then again here we created a new supply, and then I don't know, I ended some on these candles right here. I really top ticked it, and then we chopped around. This is a spread candle, wasn't scared at all. Spreads super normal. And then I woke up the next day and we were like floating good in profit. Again, same concept for my break even. Where would I go to break even? Where would I trade it in the opposite direction? This level here. So what did I do? Put an alert, stop loss to break even at that level. And from there on, again, it's just floating to stop loss to break even or to my take profit. However, with this position, I did decide to enter on my demand zone. So this would have been your demand zone if you would have traded in the opposite direction. If you go to the 1 hour, we could fine tune it to somewhat this level. And because the momentum wasn't that strong as with AUD I decided to close all my accounts. Also because I passed some challenges at that level. So this is ADC Chef. As you can see, I am still super confident that we will break this level and even this level. Now I will explain one more concept that I have been seeing a lot in the markets trading Forex. So when you go over the charts, every time on the 4-hour that I am looking for a trade, 9 times out of 10, not every time, there is something like this. I don't know how to call this structure. Some of you will call it a head and shoulders, but I don't necessarily trade the head and shoulders. I always trade the retest of the head and shoulders. So this is your head and shoulders. This is the head and shoulders played out. I normally always catch a trade in these levels. So right here we probably created a new supply. I will now show you the live example in the market. So what happened here, we we here have our head and shoulders, and then like I said, we somewhat always create new supplies in there, and that's exactly where I always take my position. Sort of the same thing here, again, head, shoulder, and then again exactly how I explained, we create a new supply zone right here. And that's a lot of times, guys, I've been reviewing every trade, I've been journaling it all. A lot of my times this is literally where I enter my position. I really fuck with supplies like these. And then even if you zoom out a little bit, you can see this market is super bullish. Normally I will only look for buys, but because of this concept, because we break lower lows and we keep continuing bearish, I am super interested in sells. This is super quickly explained my strategy. If you want to learn this in depth, make sure to click the link down below. I help everyone, no matter how far you are in trading yet. Doesn't matter at all. That's it. If you have any questions, make sure to send me a DM and stay tuned, because in the future I will 100% upload way more Forex trades again, because I'm again locked in on this. This is my main shit. Futures is a little bit on the side, but Forex is really my thing. And stay tuned for this weekend, because I will do a student review with my best student Lorenzo, who has gotten over 20 payouts already, generated a lot of money in revenue, quit his job. So make sure to stay tuned for that. He's now working with me in my team. He lives with me, so it's gonna be a super sick story. Anyways, thank you guys for watching, and see you in the next video.